Welcome to Wrestling is Hard, where every side is the dark side of the ring. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at hard4wrestling. Email questions, complaints at wrestlingishard@gmail.com. I'm Jim, Brendan, Chris. As you're listening to this, ladies and gentlemen, we're probably at AW, on our way to AW, picking out our excellent clothing to wear to AW. Black t-shirts usually. I'm going to wear my Ty Conti gear. Maybe Sammy Guevara tearaway Adidas.
She's got a great ass.
Your head's all spit. But since we're doing this, we had to, believe it or not, we're not doing this live. But I hate to pull back the curtain and reveal the Wizard of Oz is just a little old man. So this week we decided we're going to do a little year in review so far. I think it'd be a little fun. Talk about some stuff that we've enjoyed so far this year. We haven't enjoyed. Some of the stuff that we're looking forward to. Some of the stuff we're definitely not looking forward to. So, guys, where do you want to start off? Brandon, I'll let you pick. What do you want to start with? This small list of things we can talk about.
I think we should start with Best Wrestler. But first, if I could sneak one thing in.
Yes.
If this gets posted on next Tuesday night, it's Tuesday the 26th. If you happen to listen to this between Tuesday the 26th and Wednesday night the 27th, we'll be at Lorraine Bar, 19130 1502 Brown Street. Come meet up with us. Have a drink if you're going to the show.
That's right. I forgot. Eat something before you go to the show because you're not going to get any food when you get there.
Yeah, there's these people will be inhaling all of the food that they bring into the Liacouras Center. So
yes, you won't. I got ice cream last time. I waited in line for an hour, I think. Brandon came back with pretzels. No beer. One beer.
You guys both turned down mustard, which I was shocked by, and that's how I know you were hungry. I was like, mustard? I think maybe Chris did, and Jimmy was like, no, just pure pretz.
Just bread. Give me a card.
Eat a dry soft pretzel. It's just
did. It was warm though. I'm not going to complain too much. But there you go. Yeah. Reminder. We'll be. You want to meet up with us? You want to meet up with us?
Cracking me up. He's just like.
I have nothing to add to the pretzel conversation.
If you want to meet up with us, we're going to do a little pre-show meetup at Lorraine Bar in Philadelphia, 1502 Brown Street, 19130. We'll be there around 5 o'clock, 5:30. So swing on by. Can't miss us. Watch us on YouTube if you don't know what we look like. I've got pretty poofy hair right now. I've got some good hair right now.
You got a little Kramer going.
Got some volume. I'm getting a cut on Thursday. Not too much though. I'm gonna keep.
Let it go.
I am. I got a significant other who frowns on me looking too ridiculous. So I promised to look ridiculous for the show that we go to because she won't be there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna have some bright colors on so I can be seen on.
You
TV.
do me a favor and cancel that cut. Drag it out one more week.
Should I make signs? We got to make signs too for the show. What should I do?
Oh, are you making signs?
Should I make signs? Fuck it.
Do we have good seats, like signed seats?
We're on camera side. I'm not sure exactly where we are camera side, but
absolutely.
We're on hard cam. You can see it.
I mean, the obvious like sucker answer is just 3 signs: hard, for wrestling. But if we really want to do it, I would just say Miro's a cuck.
Miro is a cuck. Okay. That's your suggestion. Miro is a cuck. Okay. Chris, you have any suggestions?
Sammy Guevara's mole.
Sammy Guevara's mole. Should I draw a picture of him with the mole? Like with hairs sticking out of it? Moly.
Yes.
Molly Russell's wart.
Moly.
And I'll do Mox fears Suzuki. There you go. That's a good triumvirate. It'll get me on Joshi Twitter. All right, let's get talking. Okay, so you want to do best wrestler. So Chris, Brandon, you suggested. So Chris, what do you got so far as your best wrestler? It could be a couple of options. What are you thinking?
So best wrestler was these were all kind of hard because we've been kind of flatlining wrestling wise. Some of them were like some of the shows were really good.
Oh, just to remind, just real quick, so just do them one at a time, and then we'll go back and forth. We'll talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so some of the shows are really good. Some of the shows are really bad. But I think it's been like this kind of just meh going on. So I'm going to go somewhere that I probably never would have went a year ago, but I'll go there now. And the person that elicits the most response from me when he comes out is Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
I get really excited when I hear Wild Thing. I really did not give a shit about this dude to begin with. I was never sold on him from his days in WWE to now, but now, till recently. But in the last, I guess since it was the point in which since he came back from wherever he went, alcohol, he was having issues with alcohol. Since he came back, it's just been, he's been really, he's pretty much the only person that's elicited a real response from me other than Sting. But, he's kind of a novelty at this point. So I'm going to go with Jon Moxley.
Brandon, thoughts?
Yeah, so when I think about 4 months into the year, it's oftentimes we don't reflect on this part of the year. So I'm going to go with someone that's made the best business decisions for themselves. I was born in 1993, so to reference who I learned pro wrestling from, Triple H, it's all about the game, baby, and how you play it. Cody Rhodes is going to be my wrestler of the year for the first 4 months of the year.
No shit.
Nobody has played the game better than Cody Rhodes to this point. All of a sudden, he's like going to be competing head-to-head with Roman Reigns for the title. So as of April, what are we at, 18th, 19th, 26th, when this gets posted?
Yeah, when the hell is this coming up? 26th, I believe.
I haven't been
currently live with the 26th, April 26th.
I haven't been more impressed with how things have worked out for any wrestler than Cody Rhodes. If it's all about the game and how you play it.
One cool thing about Cody is that he's just like being completely honest in all his interviews and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I kind of boxed myself in a corner when I decided I wasn't going to go after the title in AEW. And then I was just getting booed and cheered and booed and cheered. And I didn't know where to go and what to do. And now I'm here. And now he's in the main event scene. Fucking crazy, dude. He's getting cheered by WWE fans. It's insane. He's getting booed by AEW fans.
My argument is what has been more interesting. So
that's definitely getting mainstream attention. His moves. Best wrestler. I didn't think about any of these. Jon Moxley was one of them. Let's move on. Next category. What do you want, Chris? Your choice. Pick a category.
No, let's just go.
What the dang heck? You're gonna
biggest disappointment.
Biggest disappointment. Go ahead. You can.
Yeah. All the members of the Undisputed Era in AEW. Adam Cole, don't give a fuck. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish as a tag team, don't give a fuck. Major players. I mean, they were the top heel faction in NXT. They were in, I believe, just about every War Games but one. Or no, were they in every one, but they were baby faces in one? I don't remember. But I went from being very high on Adam Cole to really wanting to turn the TV off every time he comes down. A lot of it had to do with, and let's even say this, the biggest disappointment was his decision as a professional to come down to the ring at a fucking pay-per-view as a heel in Halo gear. That was so unbelievably fucking stupid and bad and sunk him completely.
Brandon, who you got? What do you got?
So I wrote down the same thing. There's nothing worse that you can do than make Dementia Vince McMahon look smart, and they're both doing it right now. But that same coin, I'm going to go with Tony Khan to give you an option, Jim. I think the biggest disappointment has been Tony Khan. I think it's been abundantly clear for about, I would call it 8 months now, that the next week, big announcement, a new wrestler signed, has been over. That's not drawing viewers anymore. You got to go deeper than that. He refuses to do it. That's a big disappointment.
Yes.
To loop back to the top.
I got to go with signed Tony Storm, signed Ruby Soho last year. AEW's women's division. Come on. We're getting about 16 minutes of matches and fucking 3 hours of television. What the fuck are you doing over here? Do I really need to see the Butcher and the Blade every week. Nothing against the Butcher and the Blade. Do I need to see him every week? I don't think so. Does Sammy Guevara need a segment where he's holding cards that have drawn emoji poops on them? What are you doing? Come on. The women's division's got to be better. So it's legit the most disrespected aspect of AEW. I get it. Your fan base doesn't get laid. They don't really know what women look like. So when they see him on TV, they're like, what is this person? And they don't respond for 8 minutes. Give them some more time. Get them exposure. The talent's there now. What should we do next? Brandon, go.
Can I add something to that real quick?
Yes.
In order to get, I heard this put, it was an interesting way of looking at this. You think of the greats in pro wrestling, right? Let's go, like the most popular people, right? Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, The Rock. All of these wrestlers at one point in their career were nobodies. Nobody cared about them. Nobody rushed out to see them. They were mid-carders. They were low-carders. They kind of tried to push them. Vern Gagne did with Hulk Hogan.
For many years.
He tried to push him. It didn't get over. Many, many, many years. And when the creative aspect and the talent aspect lined up in a direction in which you finally now are pushing the shit out of these guys and you're giving them a maximum amount of exposure, the reason why fans hook onto them is because they're familiar with them. Even though they're familiar with them as mid-carders, they're guys that you've seen. So there's a legitimacy built behind them, right? One of the reasons, one of the reasons why who got booed more than Roman Reigns? And he is fucking huge now. Why? Because it's not because Vince forced them down everybody's throat until eventually they accepted him. It's because he built up equity by continually being on the television program, continually being involved in storylines that mattered, and then eventually you had a familiarity with this character, and it built legitimacy. And in order to build legitimacy for the women's division at AEW, you have to put them out there. And a lot of times you're going to put them out there and they're not going to get a fucking reaction. But eventually they will. You can't put them out there for 6 minutes and everybody goes to the bathroom and then you go, well, that didn't work. Bail on it. Right? And if that's the case, if you're not going to put the effort into it, what the fuck are you paying them for? Right? It just doesn't make any sense. You have to establish some sort of relationship, good or bad, with the fans. And in order to do that, you have got to continually put them out there. And putting them out there does not mean putting them on a fucking YouTube show that nobody fucking watches. I'm done here.
Well put.
Well, Tony's listening. Maybe he'll.
All right. Who gets the next choice?
You pick.
I'm not picking shit. Chris?
All right, I'll pick. Fuck it. Best match.
Okay. Best match of the year so far. Go ahead. Be multiple.
I don't think anybody can argue with the best match of the year. It involved cattle prods. It involved sparklers. A giant hand. Glasses that kept falling off. Mouse traps on a table that probably weren't set. Bowling balls, a foot. What else do we got in there? Giant mouse strap.
Slam. Giant mouse trap.
Slam. Yeah, best match so far this year.
Party Boy.
Denim Speedos. Party Boy's ass. The line, Party Boy's ass was just getting over.
Yep.
Yeah, WrestleMania, Night 2, Knoxville, Sami Zayn. I do not see anything topping that for the entire year. The amount of fucking enjoyment I got from that match that night was out of control.
It was so much fun. Brandon.
You don't think anyone can, but someone is going to. Because I think we would be remiss to not include WrestleMania Night 1, the match that I did not think was going to be a match, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. The reason I'm picking this is because they fucking got me. And if there's nothing I want more from wrestling, and probably one of the things that we subtly complain about every week is that they just refuse to ever even entertain the possibility that they can get you. And if they could, it leaks out on Twitter. I think the match probably started about 12:07 a.m. Eastern time, Sunday morning. Midnight, Saturday night, I did not think Stone Cold was going to do a full match. I thought he was going to do this couple things. He's coming out at WrestleMania after he retired before. Done his stunners, done his beer things.
His beer things.
That deserves, done his beer tricks, his beer catches, his cool beer stuff. Everybody likes cool beer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Until the segment started, I was like, we're getting a fucking match tonight. And nothing, sorry to the Jackass crew, nothing could get me more excited than a Stone Cold Steve Austin match. I knew, like, as good as the Jackass match was, you knew you were getting Jackass stunts. I did not think I was getting Stone Cold Steve Austin suplexed onto the concrete in the fucking crowd at WrestleMania. So that's my rebuttal.
One thing we didn't talk about when we were talking about WrestleMania, I don't think we mentioned it, was at the end of the whole Pat McAfee segment, he was on the ground on his back pouring beer down his throat, and they panned to him, and he was just like exhausted, laying on the ground and pouring beer down his. That was great. What a great two segments of 2 nights. That was great. If you're going for just pure wrestling, though, and I think it's something you guys, it's gone under your radar, Zack Sabre Jr. versus, what's his name, Okada over the past weekend was fucking awesome. That was probably the best pro wrestling match of the year. Better than anything on January 4th, for sure. Go ahead and check that out. All right, Brandon, go ahead, pick one.
Okay. Well, we can go right into best show then.
Okay. Go ahead.
To me, it's been WrestleMania. WrestleMania got me more pumped to get on this podcast than probably anything in the entire time that we're doing it. It's the same reason. If you can't tell, 4 months in, I'm very WrestleMania heavy. I picked Cody Rhodes. I picked Stoney versus Cosmic Kevin Owens. Remember that guy, Cosmic Kev, the old radio host?
Yeah.
I just thought they as much as I want AEW to do something, I thought that for one night they made it abundantly clear that the chasm between them and everybody else. And it's not that I'm rooting for WWE, but I think that's a good mode. I think it's a good thing for everybody. So,
okay, Chris.
So I agree with Brandon, but I'm going to narrow it down to WrestleMania. I in my head, it was WrestleMania Night 2. Best show. I'm breaking that into 2 shows. But Night 2 gave us the Jackass match and the Pat McAfee match, which was another match. It was a lot of fun. And you got Stone Cold in that match.
And Vince's bump.
Vince's bump. It was just, that whole thing. So I'm going to agree with you. And I think it's I like the fact that, one of the things we see with AEW and with a lot of, you're not knocking these guys off. It's not happening.
Don't try.
I mean, don't even try. Try to be different. We talked about this last week with the episode with Samoa Joe and the guy with Owen Hart's head. Whatever, Samir Singh or whatever the guy's name is. It was so like, wow, you're doing them. And you're going into deep water, man. This is just, don't just try to be different. And, because when you try to be the same, you will never be able to pull off what they pulled off in those 2 nights. To what Brandon was saying before, as soon as I realized that it was still a huge surprise and it still got me really excited. But as soon as I realized that the KO show was coming up on night 1 and it was at the end of the show, I was like, we're getting a wrestling match here. I didn't expect it to be what it was, but I just kind of put the pieces together. Didn't take away from it in the least. But I'll give it the night too, just because of the sheer ridiculousness of what went on. And I'll be honest with you, I have not been laughed that fucking hard at anything in a long time. So that's my pick.
Satnam Singh was his name. His body, Owen Hart's head. Satnam Singh. Owen Hart lives forever in our hearts and on Satnam Singh's body.
Yeah, if you're talking about going into deep waters, coming for them, that's the move.
Yeah, that's definitely the move.
We will remember Owen Hart forever by resurrecting his head.
his de-thawed head.
Hold on,
His
hold on.
wife is like crying at ringside, like, this is the greatest gift ever. Fuck you, Vince.
We put it in a farm sink for 32 hours until he woke up and asked where his body was. That was when we elected to execute Satnam.
Oh, boy.
Hold on. When they bring him up, this is this is what it's gonna do. Ladies and gentlemen, the head of Owen Hart. Yes, I am Owen Hart.
There's just the
Curse to eternal life
the eyes are closed.
in the floating head.
They lift up the body of Satnam Singh with a bunch of like electrical cords plugged into his back. And then you see them connect and the eyes open. And that's what he says.
Didn't we already see this in the at Madison Square Garden in the $4 million entrance of PCO, which by the way was fucking cool, but you don't waste that on that dude.
Yeah, it was cool, but
It was cool as shit,
Lightning
but
bolts. Easy,
yeah, I mean, fucking
I think
bump
he's
man.
one of the funnier wrestlers.
Yeah, he's insane. French Canadian dude that now just jumps off shit.
mhm.
Just throw
Large.
me onto my collarbone. I'm 57 years old.
Well, that
Large,
he's
old French Canadian man.
he's one of those guys. Like I look at when I see him, my body starts hurting.
Yeah.
Like it's like you look at him, you're like, dude, you must be in so much pain all the time.
No, I'm French Canadian. It doesn't matter. I eat poutine. That's him.
Oxycontin.
Oxycontin. There, Oxycontin. This is not cheese way.
It's
This
no
is not
cheese
kernels
curd.
of cheese.
It's
This
no
is
cheese
Oxycontin.
Is ground up painkillers.
It's like a little cheese wheel. You put it in the cheese grater on top of your coffee.
My
They
my,
purpose it.
my career is sponsored by Purdue Sackler.
His PCO stands for Percocet.
Perk set Oxy.
overdose.
This is the best stuff.
Oh my god.
How do we get on this road? Oh, me.
Sorry, my neck. All right, best show. Yes, I agree with both of you. But also the return of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Hyper Battle. That show was awesome. Kushida's coming back. Foreign talent's coming over. New Japan's back, baby. We're gonna be talking about this next year. Trust me.
I think like if we do this 8 months from now, Hyper Battle will be a lot more notable. But
Right
that's
now,
the
you're-
beauty of catching us on April
That's right.
19th.
Yeah, it's what happens when AEW comes to town and I have to work the night before. We get to do a mid-season review in April. I guess it's quarterly.
And
All
this
right,
is like, and sorry to interrupt you. This is like the classic WWE season review. Like this is right after Mania is the like
That's their restart.
end of the year. Yeah.
Quote unquote restart. They don't really do a restart, but I think Cody's still feuding with Seth Rollins, right?
Yep.
WrestleMania Backlash is coming up, baby. Is that what the next pay-per-view is? I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Have you
The
started
big
watching it,
WWE.
Brandon?
No. I've been paying more attention online, but as far as flipping it on the TV, no. I saw Ezekiel. I'm interested in. I saw LA Knight cut a monster promo on SmackDown. I don't know if you caught that, but
I did not.
the guys that I actually like, LA Knight is like now a talent agent,
Mm-hmm.
and he cut this like 2.5 minute promo very like NWA style, but worked very well. It's worth watching. I think he's been like one of my favorites for a while. He could go somewhere. And then Elias has now shaved his beard and he's Ezekiel. Elias'
did see that.
brother, and has been
Brother.
pretty fucking entertaining. Like they just Ezekiel, LA Knight, guys that are like maybe not the best wrestlers, but classic entertainment. They could get something going here.
Yeah, especially I like when the mid card's fun.
There's a
When the
there's
mid
a
card
kindling.
stinks. It's when it stinks. Okay. What do you got? Who's next? Chris?
What am I looking forward to?
What are you looking forward to in the rest of the year?
Watching Stardom.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get Cinderella. The
Yeah, get
Cinderella final is this week.
Don't forget your brass slipper.
Put on the dress.
And you can do whatever you want.
That show should be good. There's a couple of title matches and stuff on it. Should be good. Good stuff. I think it's when last year we watched the Cinderella final and you guys are pretty hype on it. So should be good.
Yep. Yeah, I got a little bit more grasp on what's going on. I don't know who I'm really a fan of yet. I get to pick that out. Starlight Kid. It's pretty much one of them, but looking forward to seeing more, even though it looks like, did you say she was injured? But Kairi, maybe we'll get some special spots and big shows with Kairi this year. But just like exploring this thing that I hadn't had the chance to really, it's been a little bit difficult me getting into it. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Stardom. I'm stoked for it this year.
Cool.
And now that I'm sorry, let me just add another thing. New Japan as well. I guess we can say Japan in general. More Stardom than anything else.
Pretty good.
So this is off of a hunch. I have a deep-seated hunch here. If you've been listening to us, we're obviously based out of Philly. I believe in my hunches. The year that the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was October 15th. I watched them play a Thursday night football game, immediately requested off the week after the Super Bowl for work. I'm like, this is something different's going on here. So based on this hunch, I'm going to go with CM Punk to be what I'm most excited for the rest of the year. I think the excitement about him existing in AEW is over. We've done all of that. He's done his kind of fun with the middle of the card guys that he was interested in wrestling. His clock is ticking as everyone else's is. I think he could light this fucking place up the next 8 months.
Yeah. Excited for that too. I'm also looking forward to New Japan announcing who's going to be in the Super Juniors. And eventually we get our G1 Climax in the summer. Curious if we get some Western talent in there. They're open. They're letting people in, especially workers.
Great.
I'd be really stoked. If I get some Powerhouse Hobbs in my fucking G1 Climax, I'm going to be stoked. I want to see Powerhouse Hobbs slapping up against fucking Jeff Cobb in one of these matches. That shit would be hype. I'm excited for that. I think, yeah. Foreign talent going to Japan. That's what I'm stoked for. All right, go ahead, Brandon. What do we got left?
Regrets.
Yes.
Regrets.
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 What are you thinking?
So same theme here. My biggest regret, probably one of my biggest regrets of my lifetime, is I probably could have afforded this year and gone down to Dallas and seen the end of Stoney, my childhood hero that my mom would never let me go to the First Union Center and see because there was too much dang cursing. I had one shot. And I whiffed on it because I got fucking duped, dude. I thought the KO show was the KO show. He would do a couple stunners. That would be it. Had I known, I could have been in row 3 and had him get dumped onto his head right next to me. That would have been my fucking seat. I guarantee it.
I mean, to your defense, the prospect of going to Dallas is not ever. It's never fun.
No.
Because Dallas stinks.
I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, so it's like that was the big thing with me. The last couple of years was Dallas, right? And it was like, I remember after going to New York for WrestleMania. Mind you, I didn't go to New York. I didn't go to WrestleMania, but I spent the whole weekend up there. I had a fucking blast. One of the best weekends I ever had in my life. Just bouncing around New York City and going to wrestling shows, having a beer here and there, and getting Indian food, and going to these vegan restaurants and all the shit that New York, New York stuff I was doing. And it was fun. And then you do that, and then the next year was Tampa. Fucking want to go Tampa. Tampa doesn't have public transportation. I gotta get a car in Tampa. No.
You're not gonna have a guy following you after getting off the subway going token in the smoke.
Token
and
in the smoke.
Smoking then
the bitch and you token smoke.
Smoke.
Get out of my neighborhood. I got a couple get out of my neighborhoods in Brooklyn. I was very proud of that.
It's good.
I like that. I like
Really?
that. Yeah. Once
It's
I was
their
just,
neighborhood. They rent, but it's theirs.
yeah.
This is the shittiest middle-aged white guy thing to say ever.
Yeah, I got this fucking guy was just like, get out of my fucking neighborhood or something to my face. And I just looked and I was like, I'm leaving in about 5 hours, man. Leave me alone. Yep, I got that. But
what
I
is
mean,
that-
like your
what is
other
that
options. What's that?
I was gonna say, what is that compulsion? I feel like I've done that in my past too. Like, you move somewhere and then you just like plant your flag, and you're like, everybody that comes after you, you're like, I've been here. What are you
I've
doing?
been here. I've been
That's-
here the whole time.
That's me every time I go to a movie theater. Everybody that walks in after me, I'm like, what the fuck did you come here for? I want this whole room to myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get on a plane, you're like, you're sitting next to me.
Get a whole other row over there. What are you sitting for? Yeah, but back to my point, it was like, okay, I went to New York, had a good time, and it was like Tampa. I'm not going to Tampa. And then 2 years in a row in Dallas. So we should start talking about maybe LA.
No,
LA
it
was
wasn't.
fun.
It wasn't 2
So it
years.
was
in a
two
row in
Tampas.
Dallas.
It was?
Two Tampas.
It was 2 Tampas. Yeah, it was 2 Tampas
Yeah.
because of the pandemic.
Right.
1 year in Dallas.
Right. Because then they do the one at the Performance Center, and then the next year was in Raymond James, and then the following year was at AT&T in Dallas.
There you go. Something like that.
Mhm.
I have no idea. It was definitely 2 Floridas and one I could go to.
Right?
No, it was
No.
2019 was New York.
Yeah.
2020 didn't happen.
2020 was
21
Performance
Tampa.
Center.
2021 was
22
Tampa.
Dallas.
2022 Dallas.
The
Okay.
thing about Dallas,
Well, they
though,
do-
as much as
Oh, you know what I'm doing? I'm confusing because there was the one with the pirate ship, and I wanted Kyrie Sane to come riding in on the pirate ship.
Wait, but I think
no,
no,
that was
listen.
that was the Bad Bunny one.
what's fucking you up is
was
that
saying.
all of these WrestleManias are 2 nights.
Right.
And I think that's
what
what's
it
fucking you up. It was 2020 was in the Performance Center. No fans. Right? 2021, that's when AJ Styles got buried and then didn't show up on Raw covered in dirt, which I thought was a complete fucking like a fucking wasted
later,
opportunity.
is.
Yeah.
Covered in dirt.
Covered in dirt.
I just
And
don't know.
wrestled dirty for like a month and a half. He's always
Yeah,
had
like-
dirt on him. Yeah.
like
Just be like Big
Beatrix
Ben.
Kiddo and fucking
Mhm.
Kill Bill
Yeah.
2.
They could have used that. They didn't. They blew it. But anyway, and then the following year was in Tampa, 2 days in Raymond James Stadium, limited capacity. And then last year, this past WrestleMania was in Dallas.
Okay.
But it's the fact that there's 2 days, I think, is what's screwing you up. It's almost making it feel like they're 2 years.
Right.
Because they feel like a fucking 9-hour shows each.
what I was
So my
going to
point
say, that
is-
was that. Okay, finish your point.
My point was Tampa, Dallas, not great places to go. LA's fun. Good.
I was going to say is the thing about Dallas is that whether you hate Dallas or not, Jerry Jones built a building that handles a 90,000 person show very easily. And you see shots from WrestleMania in Tampa or New York or LA, and they put big fucking pillars up and ruin the bottom quarter of the seats. And
Yeah.
if your
Yeah.
guys are anything like me, we're going to end up in that bottom 1/4 of price seats because they're already $1,000 to go.
Mhm.
It's like, but there you can actually go see it. It's like, I don't know, man. For that, I would never want to be in Dallas. I've been there before,
Mm-hmm.
but for that event, it's a pretty good place to see it.
Chris, regerts.
So this is going to be a visual and an auditory thing.
Okay, so you're gonna watch on YouTube.
Yeah. I'm going to hold up my biggest regret. That's
Chris's
purchasing this cunt's Ric Flair's Roots of Fight sweatshirt.
Mhm.
Quite expensive, great sweatshirt, But this man continues, and I will still wear the shit out of it because as Ric Flair as a wrestler is one of my favorite of all time. As a human being, even making mistakes in the past and owning up to them is one thing. Forgiveness is divine. But then he decided he was going to start drinking again and leave his wife, get a divorce,
Blue beer.
and
Green beer.
go drink green beer and smash his head on a fucking marble table, which is we assumed happened. And then this past week,
Oh, the Dusty, but he
Yeah.
survived.
and then this past week, he fucking was in the ring with Jay Lethal working out. So there's only a matter of time before he's back, at least somewhere for something.
Yeah, he put a video up saying, "Oh, you don't think I can do it anymore? Here we go. Woo, yeah." Woo.
And afterwards, he was probably, I really,
Still an hour.
I'm not a big believer. I'm not a believer at all in karma, mysticism, things like that. But I am a believer in not trying not to be a shithead. And you know, people do death pools. And I wouldn't involve myself in something like that. I think it's shitty to profit off of others' deaths. But if I had one, I would probably put Richard Flair in for my 2022 because this dude is just, you know, it's just like he's gross. He's just become gross. It's just not. It's like he's the guy that you meet and you think he's cool, and then after a while, it's like, you know, you're really not fucking funny. You're disgusting. And that's where I'm at with my
creep.
Disappointment. That creep. Still love his wrestling.
You see my dick?
Well, you know, I think what put the nail in the coffin was listening. I told you guys 2 weeks ago, listening to the Nitro book, and he was doing that in the fucking TBS soundstage days. So,
Woo, look at my dick. Woo, woo.
dick. And then Tommy Dreamer defended him. Well, when you're named the Nature Boy and you got a big dick, you got to expect the guy to pull it out. No.
There's no expectations.
No, you don't.
No one goes to work and expects dicks to be pushed up against them. What do you got going on here? What is this? What's going on here?
That's Ric Flair talking. Car Shield. All those ads are gone, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah, they're
are
gone. Car Shield. And then, like, he sees his daughter and he's like, crying.
I gotta see if there's the Car Shield still on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure it's still on YouTube, but it's not fucking. I don't see it anymore. We've moved on to Ice-T and the guy from the Soul Sonic Force. And
yeah, that's right. Oh, it's Ice-T. Okay. Car Shield commercials.
You got to respect.
Oh, he's still
290 years into your human life. Yeah, first of all, he's the worst pro wrestler ever as a human being. Maybe not ever. Grizzly.
No, Grizzly Smith.
Grizzly,
yeah.
Grizzly Smith.
But
Grizzly Adams.
He's one of the worst living people that I can think of. But dude, there's something about being 290, slipping on busting your head off a granite countertop after 18 Michelob Ultras, seeing stars and seeing Dusty Rhodes give you a bionic elbow and waking up and going, I think I got more in the tank.
I kind of want to play
That
one
I
of
respect.
the ads. I want to play one of the. I want to play one of the ads, but I'm afraid it's going to go right to a YouTube commercial.
Definitely will. Yeah.
It's going to go to what's the one we get here? Dr. Oz is a rhino.
But dude, can you imagine being
Never trust. All right. He's like,
Yeah, Brandon.
as you play the clip, but as you play the commercial, you guys are in your mid 40s. Imagine another 35
There you go.
years and you've
Yeah.
had 20 beers
Mhm.
and you've just cracked your head open being like, I think I got to get back into my fucking prime. That's a lust for life few people will ever experience.
That's true.
he's like, Jason fan,
You're getting your foreheads sewn together.
Oh no, don't do this to me. When
hear
Charlotte Flair.
No,
No, not at all.
I think you got to unplug your headphones. if they're plugged in.
I don't think it'll come across our recording. That's all that matters. Woo! There you go. Anything else to add?
Yeah, I have to actually something else about Ric Flair. I want to add.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I'm officially getting paid to yell about my yogurt.
Dad, I'm sick of you and you need to get out of here.
Did you get the check for the yogurt?
What the fuck? Is that something I don't know about? What's going on there?
From Car Sense.
Car Shield.
He's got all
Car
Alzheimer's.
Sense.
Ric Flair.
Jesus Christ.
Got new Ric Flair is the gift that keeps on giving, you fucking old fucking like young. Oh God.
This probably
Yes.
sounds really good in your headphones. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Listen, listen. Get Car Shield. Hopefully you have Car Shield because you're gonna laugh so hard you'll crash your car, and then we don't want that to happen. But if you do, you'll have Car Shield.
Yes.
Woo! I'm seeing St. Patty's Day. Woo! Urgent leader section. Woo!
Is that Reed? Come here, Reed.
I was laying on the floor, and I can tell you, I saw he's Reed. He was looking at me, he's calling me to the light, and I said no. I said no light. I got one more left in me. One more left in me, Reed. And I threw Reed on the ground, and I said, it's a present. And he drops the knee on Reed's ghost, but it doesn't do anything.
Because he's a ghost.
Yeah,
It's just some intern for the Car Shield. He just has his arm around him, gripping his neck, giving him advice as if he's Reed Flair for 25 minutes.
Do you think he sees him?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I wasn't there for you, son. Woo, yeah, woo. I had to go to work. And your mother was a bitch.
It's a small Asian woman. You just gripping her neck like this.
Please, Mr. Khan, he's doing it again.
It's Riho.
Mr. Khan, help. Ric Flair's at it again.
Rio Flair?
Rio Flair, you released me. Come here. I never wanted you. Your mother made me keep you. Woo!
Yeah, fire me, I'm already fired. 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 I think. What do you think? Do you think the record in his brain
Fuck was
skipping? When he's yelling at Eric Bischoff,
You fired me. I'm already fired.
Fire me, I'm already fired. And fire me, you're gonna fire me, I'm already fired. He was probably the record in his head was skipping. You fire me, I'm already fired. You fire me, I'm already
His
fired.
first of 23 strokes during his life.
That's
go.
the best wrestling podcast you could possibly put down.
That's it. Hey, tell your friends. You want to listen to Chris? Go on. He was absolutely incoherent for the last 3 minutes.
Listen,
Sorry,
no,
Hey, friends.
sorry if it's bad radio, but I'm just trying. I'm trying to be entertaining.
That's great radio.
That's great radio. It's the best kind of radio. All right, let's get out of here. If you want to come hang out with us before AEW next week, or if you're listening now, today or tomorrow, come meet us at Lorraine Bar in Philadelphia, 1502 Brown Street, 19130. Come say hi. You can't miss us. We're funny looking. Hang out. Have a drink. Recommendation for anybody going to the AEW show. Eat before you go. Have a couple beers before you go because you may get one. Hang out with us. Lorraine Bar in Philly. Thanks for joining us this week. Join us here every week at Wrestling is Hard. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at hard4wrestling. Subscribe and follow. Tell your friends. For Brandon and Chris, I am Jim. We will be back here next week.